Healing isn't linear. And stick with me for a second. I've spoken so much in my previous videos about my healing journey, about what happened, what I went through, and how it made me a better person, how it made me stronger. But I didn't actually discuss on how it actually made me feel and the intense emotions that I was not prepared for. On this channel, I love to encourage you to be who you are, your authenticity, shine, encourage you to become the best version of yourself. And just be your little virtual cheerleader to let you know that you should believe in yourself, because I do. And if that sounds like your vibe, I would love if you could like and subscribe. And when people used to say to me, healing isn't linear, I used to be like, yeah, no, and I even used to say it. But it is really true. You can have a wound or a situation that you had happen 4 years ago, let's say, and then it comes up again and it bites you in the ass. And you sit there and question yourself and get mad at yourself and go, why am I not over that yet? That happened years ago. Like, is something wrong with me? No, you're just going through the healing process. It can take years to get over something. You might never get over something. And I think it's the hard thing of accepting that. Like even saying it out loud now, like, you might never go over something. I'm like, God, I hope I do. Like, honestly. And I think the thing is with my past and what I had growing up, I had so much go on that I think I just dissociated. Like, I literally dissociated, and my wonderful friend was like, I think you're in survival mode. And to give it some context, wait, let me swap over my hands, I'm holding my phone. To give it some context, I remember that before I went to therapy, I was like, I'm going to do therapy, it'll bring things to light, I'll end up feeling better talking these things out. But when I tell you, what they don't prepare you for is the emotions that come to the surface. Before that, I remember having logically emotions. So what I mean by that is, if I was sad, I'd be like, yeah, I'm sad. And then the therapist would be like, where do you feel that? And I was like, what do you mean, where do I feel it? I don't feel it anywhere. I just know I'm sad. Like, I know something's making me sad. And she was like, yeah, but where are you actually feeling in your body? And I was like, I'm not. And then as time went on, she opened Pandora's box even more. Thank you so much. No, honestly, it's been a blessing. Like, if you can do therapy, do it. She opened Pandora's box and she was like, okay, we're going to touch on this subject. And obviously from my previous videos, I've spoken about parents and like the childhood trauma that I went through. And nothing prepares you for not feeling emotions for the longest time, and then boom, get slapped in the face and you start feeling all these emotions. And I can't explain it. Like, well, I can't, I'm going to try and explain it. How I felt when those emotions started coming up and I started feeling my body was horrible. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm not going to pretend that it felt great to feel these emotions, all of a sudden these little flutters. No, I hated it. I immediately was like, okay, can I go back to the person that didn't feel anything before? Can I go back to that person, just avoid and dodge the feelings? No, because once Pandora's box is open, you can't close it. And, okay. Looking back now, obviously hindsight's great. Looking back now, I'm glad that I didn't shut those emotions down, because only in the last few weeks to a few months, I've started actually regulating my emotions normally, healthily, and without it spiraling my whole day. Like, I'm talking, I would feel nervous about something, or I would get an emotion come to surface and it would ruin my whole day. So the way it started that I can remember is I would speak about everything I went through in therapy. Everything I experienced, all the past hurt, the past pain. And I remember that I just all of a sudden would start to get an emotion. Like, let's say, for example, I started to feel upset. And I could feel in my body that I felt upset, that I didn't feel right. And because my body was foreign to that emotion and that feeling, I would go into fight or flight. Like, I'm talking, I would panic because I didn't know what was coming up for me. And rather than what I do now, acknowledging the feeling and letting it pass, I would try and fight it. I would be like, why am I feeling like this? This is a sad feeling, or this is this feeling. I don't know what this is. To be honest, at the start, I was like, what is this? What is going on? I just felt completely overwhelmed. Like, honestly, I felt like I was on shutdown mode. I was like, I don't know if I can make it through this feeling. This feels all consuming. This is way too much for me to handle. And what should have started out as a small feeling of sadness literally made me spiral for hours. It would take me out for half a day. I wouldn't be able to think about anything else but that emotion, that feeling. And of course, that feeling would just get stuck in my body rather than processing. Because now I've learned to process my emotions. I know what you need to do is you need to acknowledge the feeling and not fight it, which is what I did. I would fight it and it will pass by. But no, I had to have the feeling and fight it and be like, why am I feeling like this? What is going on? I had to intellectualize it and understand it and be like, what the hell is going on? Why am I feeling this feeling? What is going on? Am I broken? Is there something wrong with me? I feel overstimulated. I can't do this. I can't get through this feeling. This is too much. I can physically feel it in my body. Am I okay? Is something happening? And I would panic. And that was simply because I started to feel emotions after years of numbing. I spent years and years of years pushing those emotions down, not feeling anything, and just passing by and dissociating. I was in survival mode. I can't remember my childhood. Like, I can remember obviously what I've spoken about, the snippets, but I can't remember a lot of it. And I also remember from a young age, when I'd feel things, I would shut them down. Because I was like, I don't want to feel these emotions. I've got to be strong. I've got to help my parent get through these tough times. I just need to avoid them at all costs and just get through the day. But they will come back to you. If you've got unprocessed emotions, they're going to come back. They're not just going to disappear like a deadbeat dad with his milk. They're going to come back around. You really do have to feel it to heal it, as cliche as it sounds. And it's going to take time. It's not just going to be you'll get an emotion that comes up and you're just going to heal it straight away because you've acknowledged it. Even when you start acknowledging those emotions and trying to let them pass by, it might take time. You might still spiral for a little period of time because your body needs to learn that it's safe. Your nervous system needs to understand that it's going to be okay. I had so much complex trauma that I needed to unpack and feel and acknowledge. Like at times I was generally like, I don't know if I can get through this emotion. It's just consuming my body. And I would ask people, I'd be like, does that happen to you? Because I felt like something was wrong with me. I was like, what is going on? Like, am I okay? Is something wrong with me? Like, do I need to go to the doctors? And of course, if you need extra support like that, then there's nothing wrong with asking for help. But I got to learn and acknowledge that actually what I was doing is I was fighting my emotions that were coming up. And if I simply let them go through my body, and again, when they come up, they can feel so uncomfortable. If I just let them simply go through my body, I'm telling my nervous system that I am safe, I'm releasing control, and they will pass by. And each time it got quicker and quicker and quicker. And I'm not saying I'm a master now, but I'm pretty good at letting an emotion come up and not attaching to it and just letting it pass by. And something interesting that I actually heard as I paused myself recording this video from my friend was, you don't actually necessarily always heal it. Like I said at the beginning, you don't always necessarily get over it. You just learn to become more comfortable with it. You become stronger and you learn to deal with it because some things are just too hard to overcome. But it's like when I mentioned about my childhood, that responsibility and feeling like I had to be there for people. In my adult life, that would show up with me feeling completely stressed if I had to lose control of a situation. It would be me performing for people's attention. It would be showing myself, my worth to people rather than just being a person, existing and knowing that I'm worthy just by being who I am. It would be by chasing these men, getting that attention to fulfill my need of being accepted and being loved. And that shit is exhausting, guys. Honestly, it's so exhausting. It would be the sheer panic that I would experience if I was in debt by like £100 because I grew up without money. I grew up constantly worrying about money. And that is exactly why in my older life, I hate someone being stingy. There's nothing wrong with saving money and being good with your money, but when someone's stingy, I just can't. I grew up with one of my parents being super stingy and just saying, we're skint, we're skint, we're skint. And that, when you're older, I think to myself, I'm like, well then do something about it. Don't just sit there and be like, we're skint, we can get through it. And then the anger comes out, as you can tell now, the anger from it, like, oh, we're skint, we're skint, we're skint. Get off your ass and do something about it. I know that obviously if you've got a family, it's hard to change careers, but do something about that financially. Ask for more. That's what I would do. That's what I've learned. And I guess I never would have learned that unless I would have gone through it. Again, you grow through what you go through, guys. But the anger and resentment that builds from that, the fact that they had a life and they chose to live it a certain way and moan about it, I'm just like, what? I have a life and I choose to build it. That frustration, that anger has pushed me towards that mindset. It's pushed me to want more for myself. But it comes with self-worth questioning. When you grow up in an environment where there's a lot of criticism, a lot of external validation seeking, you learn to do that with other people when you're an adult. You question your worth. You seek that validation because you don't feel worthy. And it's not until you do the inner work that you realise, actually, I'm worthy by just existing. But self-worth is not external. It's in the key, self-worth. It comes from you. And through healing, you learn to self-validate. And I'm still getting there, guys. And again, it might be one of those things that I might always seek a bit of external validation. And a bit of external validation seeking is natural for a human. But not to the extent where I would be. I would tie my worth to someone's opinion of me. I would tie my worth to someone not texting back. If I had silence as well, this is a big one, this is one I'm working through. If someone was silent, or a friend silent, or romantic partner silent, I automatically jump to something's wrong with me. Not that there's a million things going on, or a million possibilities. I would jump to, I've done something wrong. And the feeling of that in yourself, like, it's destructive. You start to question yourself, your self-worth. You start to doubt who you are. And that comes from silent treatment growing up. I had that multiple times growing up. And again, in my adult life, it showed up thinking, have I done something wrong? Am I a bad person? But when I've been healing this, I then switch to my mindset and go, all these people around me that love me and appreciate me are frigging amazing. All these amazing besties treat me with so much respect. And they make me feel so loved, so seen, and so validated. And why have I done that? Because I've chosen to circle myself with those people. So even when my mind goes to, have I done something wrong? I have to catch myself and not catastrophize, which we all do. We all do. I have to not catastrophize and go, okay. It's not that anything's wrong with you. There's a million reasons for this situation, for this silence, for this person not following you back. And it absolutely most likely has nothing to do with you. Because we're all living for ourselves. We're all in our own minds all the time. We rarely pay attention to what other people are doing. But again, it's hard. It's hard to move past that. It's hard to not see silence as danger. But I'm learning that actually someone else's thoughts, opinions and feelings are all to do with them and not to do with me. And anyone that doesn't want to be in my life, then that's absolutely fine. And I wish them well, don't wish any negativity. But I'm good. With the people around me, I'm good. So when I question myself, I have to pull myself back to that state. I would say as well, where I had so much responsibility and I had to be in control of a lot of things, and I felt like I was a therapist, and I felt like a lot of responsibilities were put on me for a young age, I would learn to be hypervigilant. I would learn to read people's moods. Anytime someone would walk in the room, I would be like, oh, that's how they're feeling, that's what's going on, I can feel their energy. And when I was younger, I thought, oh, this is a superpower, I can pick up on someone's mood. But as you get older, it's exhausting. It's literally exhausting. It's not my business to know if Joe Bloggs walks in from the street and feels nervous, or feels angry, or feels frustrated. It's not for me to absorb. But again, it's not until you realise when you go through these emotions that actually, although you can feel their emotions and feel it so intensely, it's not your responsibility to carry. So when I see someone that's unregulated, that's kicking off, say for example someone's kicking off, I will avoid them at all costs. Whereas old me would have gone over to them and be like, it's okay, calm down. Like, I would have wanted to regulate them. Now I'm like, I'm protecting my peace at all costs. What you've got going on, I hope you're okay, but it's not for me to take on. I ain't nobody's therapist. And there'll be so many people in the room that aren't hypervigilant, that have the luxury of not noticing that. But it's so built in my nervous system, I have to unlearn it. Because the problem is, when you start absorbing everyone's emotions, it's exhausting. But also you feel that responsibility. You feel like you have to be responsible for those people's emotions when you do not. You are responsible to regulate yourself. You are responsible to support yourself. You need to be 100%, put your own oxygen mask on first, and then you can help other people if you want. And I'm not against helping other people. I'm a person for that. I enjoy helping people. But I've had to learn to limit who it is I help. Because if I help everyone, my level of tolerance and my level of, my level of energy just goes down. And then who's exhausted? Me. But I've made that person feel better. But the responsibility is make myself feel good, and then if I've got the capacity, make the other person feel better. Like even with friendships, if you don't have the capacity, there's nothing wrong with saying to a friend, look, I really don't have the capacity right now. Because also, let's be honest, if you don't have the capacity, you might feel a bit resentful because you're like, I'm showing up when I don't want to show up. But you've not actually communicated that and you've just taken it on. And again, I used to do this where I used to be hypervigilant and feel like I was so responsible. I used to feel like I would have to take on everyone's emotions, even if my tank was at 0. And it's no fault of these people's own, but I would take it on, but then I'd end up feeling resentful, I'd end up feeling annoyed. And I think, that's a bit like annoying. Like, how is it that you can ask for help, but I don't get anyone there for me? And why was that? Because when I was going through it, I would not ask for help. This would come from the hyper-independence. With the hyper-independence, I felt like I had to handle everything on my own. My own. I felt like I had to deal with everything by myself. And when I would go through things, I would keep it all in my mind. Even up until this year, when I was going through things, I wouldn't talk to people about it. I'd just keep it all inside, or I'd talk about it on ChatGPT, which was really helpful. I'm not going to lie, since I found it. It's like my little therapist. But human interaction and human connection is so important. So even though it felt uncomfortable, and honestly, opening up to people and talking to people about your emotions when you don't do it, and being vulnerable and actually crying in front of people, it felt horrible. I felt like a bracing in my body. I felt a wall go up. But what did I not do this time? I was like, I need to get through this and I need support, and I'm going to ask for help to make it feel normal for my nervous system. And I asked for help, and I'd reach out to those people that I felt safe with and comfortable with, and they'd support me. I was sat at this literal table right now talking to my girl bestie about everything that I went through and how it made me feel. And I went through a hard week a few weeks ago, and old me would have internalized it, bottled it up. New me sat down here and was vulnerable and was basically crying. And I find it really hard to cry. I don't know if it's because, again, when I was younger, I'd cry and I'd like grab myself and be like, nope. Or I just don't cry. I don't know. Maybe it's part of my healing journey, which is happening, right? But I remember just crying and being upset and feeling all those emotions. And it was so freeing. But at the same time, I feel like when I open up about things, not this specific experience, but when I open up about these things that are raw, even on these videos I've posted on YouTube, the next day I will get an emotional hangover and I'll be like, I shouldn't have posted that. Why did I do that? I feel like people are going to like sit there and stuff, and they're going to be like, you're too much. And we need to normalize people not making you feel too much. Because again, I talk about don't let people make you feel too much. And I'm very big on that. And I'm trying to learn to not letting people make me feel too much. But there are times when I do cower in for a second and go, oh, am I too much? But I think, do you know what? If I am too much, then that's fine. But again, that is just a barrier. That is just my protection mechanism. It doesn't mean it's right. And if I want to be better and grow and be happy and healthier, I need to jump over that hurdle. And that's exactly what I do. When I notice that feeling of that, that bracing feeling, I just know to myself, it's okay, it's a barrier, you just need to make your way through it. You just need to do the opposite of what you used to do. So if you didn't speak to people because you're hyper independent and you didn't ask for help, then you need to speak to people and you need to ask for help. And the more I do that, the more I get comfortable with it. And it is so freeing. Like, I feel so free. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I can ask people for help? And I feel like I'm coming into my feminine energy like so much. And I'm all about feminine energy because I want to attract those masculine energies. You know what I mean? Those providers. But being in my masculine survival for so long, I wasn't like that. I was the one providing for myself. But how am I going to let someone in if I can't, be vulnerable and be open? And that's exactly why I do these videos, because it's my way of healing, but also opening up to you guys, whoever you are. Hi everyone. But whoever you are, just to make you feel less alone, to make you be open, to know that even if you feel uncomfortable about being open, which I do, then just do it anyway. Do it even if it's in a safe space. Like, have that group, have that person, be open, honest and vulnerable, because it will set you free. And one thing I'm learning to do recently is stop bracing for impact. So beforehand, I used to brace for the worst because it made me feel better, because it made me feel in control. And, if the worst did happen, or when I went through so much chaos, I would brace for the worst, because at least if I braced for the worst, I knew the outcome and I could feel safe. But I'm actually safe. I'm safe. Like, my nervous system is safe. I provide for myself. And asking for help, if I am struggling, will help me be safe, will help me overcome those barriers. If I'm struggling for extra money, I can just ask the company for more hours. Easy, simply done. But again, 6 months ago, I would never have done that. I would have sat in the discomfort of not asking for help. I would let past experience and past trauma dictate how I lived my life. I was like, oh my God, my life is so tough all the time. I always have to fight for things. And I've had to learn to go to myself, you don't have to fight for everything. Pick your battles. But that's only come with time. Allowing myself to rest, allowing myself to receive, allowing myself to have a support system, allowing myself to be in my feminine energy. And I love it. I love being in my feminine energy. I love feeling calmer. I love feeling at ease. I used to have the impulse to get everything done right now. I've had to unlearn that pattern. And how have I unlearned that pattern? By feeling that massive rush and that massive anxiety of getting it done. But actually I've gone to myself, slow down. Slow down. I'm learning to be calmer. I'm learning to be patient. I'm learning to actually learn patience, which was something that I struggled with because I was not good with patience before. Like, honestly, I'd wanted everything now. But I'm having to learn that you're not going to be Beyonce within 6 months, within 2 months, within even years. You might never be Beyonce. But, you know, it's about being patient and letting things come to you. And I used to chase things because, again, I thought if I didn't go after something, it was never going to happen for me. That I had to literally live the tough life and literally grab everything and not have to fight for anything. Whereas now it's an equal give and take. It's very much like, I'm going to go after something, I'm going to put myself out there, and if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it's about realising that things aren't meant for you. They will fall away and they won't, you know, they won't stick. But this has not happened overnight. I've been doing self-development since I was 24. 24, I've been really self-aware, or like getting self-aware, and then I became really self-aware to the point where I went to therapy when I was 28, and I went to therapy for a year till I was 29, and then from 29 to 30 I spent the year feeling emotions, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like I didn't want to have the emotions. I was like, no, it's so much, because let's be honest, it's so much easier when you don't have to feel emotions. You're like, let me just put them back, I don't need to feel those. But you have to feel them to heal them. As cliche as it sounds, it's true. And I spent from 29 to now, I'm nearly 31, I spent all this time feeling those emotions and learning to regulate my nervous system, learning to build a life that I want, you know, slow mornings, calm, patient. I don't have time for people that are going to spike my nervous system. I don't have time for relationships that are going to make me feel like I have to chase consistency, that I have to go after someone, that I have to fix someone's life. I don't have the time or the patience. I'm busy building my empire, building my future, building my generational wealth and not generational trauma. And I'm busy becoming the person that I always never knew that I could be, but I'm becoming. And that is important. Get rid of all the background noise, focus in on yourself, have that circle of friends. Like when they said your circle of friends are really on your hand, like that amount of people, they ain't lying. I used to be like, no, I have so many friends. But it got to the point where I was like, I have so many friends, but who do I call when I'm going through something? You know, and I imagine if I called some of those people, they would obviously answer back in the day, but would I feel comfortable doing it? Would I feel safe doing it? And again, it's my own barriers, but that's the thing, like the people that I knew I could go to, I would go to. But now I have a massive tight-knit circle of different friends from different areas, different friendship groups, and those are the people I go for. I'll go to someone if I want a hype woman, Mads. I'll go to someone if I want emotional support. I'll go to someone if I want nurturing. I have learned to ask people for what I need. And if I know that I need something from someone and they give me the opposite after I've gone through something, say for example, I'm feeling really upset and really in my feelings, and all I need, and that's what I've learned, all I need is support and someone to hold my heart, basically. I've always said, if I'm going through it, I just want someone to hold my heart like it's the most precious thing in the world. Like literally, because talking about feelings is hard for me, but I'm learning to open up about feelings. And then when I feel like that, I've realised that if someone's dismissive, someone's a certain type of person, I won't go to them. Like they're not going to make me feel safe or comfortable. And again, I don't circle myself with people like that, but I have had instances where I open up about my emotions, and when they make me feel like that, I'd be like, am I being too much? Am I being this, that and the other? And it's like, no, you have needs and you have feelings, and those are the feelings. So if you feel like that, go to people that will nurture you and make you feel kinder and calmer. And I think that's the thing, like I definitely lacked the nurturing side growing up. So I think maybe part of me will always need that. And again, it's part of healing. Part of me might always need that. And it's okay. It's okay to sometimes, you know, heal from something or get through something and never get past it. But you need to at least acknowledge it and feel it. You need to at least acknowledge it and feel it and go through the motions, as horrible as they are. I know it's not fun. And I always thought healing was like, oh, you go through something, you'd feel something, or like you'd have an event, you'd experience the feelings, and then you'd get through it and that'd be it. No. I have experience where something has come up for me, or I've ignored it for years and years and years, then it's come up for me, I felt it, and then I've got through it. But then again, it would come up for me again, and it would come up for me again. And it wasn't until my body learned to feel safe with that situation that actually I was able to work through it. And guys, like I said, I've been doing self-development since I was 24. I'm nearly 31. But I have been doing deep self-development since 27, 28. So it's taken me a good few years to get where I am now. And of course, some of the stuff will be maturity as well. So it is just about growing up and going through hard times and becoming an adult. Like, I've only been an adult for like nearly 13 years. That's not a long time, guys. I'm 31 teen. But you are going to get through it. You have the resilience. You have these videos to watch when you're going through a hard time. You have my little video shorts as well that you can watch if you're going through a hard time. You are not alone, and it's important to speak up and speak out. Don't feel like you have to hold this world in and hold everything in by yourself. Remember, there are people out there that want to support you and want to love you. And if you reach out to someone that you want support from and they make you feel like you're the problem, it's not about you, it's about them. They're the problem. Go to people that are going to make you feel safe. They're going to make you feel loved and nurtured. You deserve the best, and you deserve the best end of your week. And just amazing day every day. I hope you have a great Monday. I hope you have a great week next week. If you're in the UK, I hope you enjoy the next heat wave. It's not as bad as the other week. That was horrible. 35 degrees. I got shingles. Like, I literally got shingles. I put it down to that for having shingles. Like, literally, I had 4 hours sleep one night, and then I got like, it was really hot. It's 35 degrees. Couldn't sleep that night. 35 degrees night. The next night, I was like, really tired. Came down with shingles on the Friday. So when your immune system goes down, that's when it happened. So I blame it on the heat. So stay safe in the heat, guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, whatever you're doing. I hope it brings you joy. I hope you're building the life that you want and you deserve and makes you feel good. And ciao for now, Bellas.